All right, so the conservatives have continued to come up with worse and worse policy positions. As the days go by, I mean, they're not really conservative. Like, I mean, they do want to cut taxes, but they do want to cut foreign aid. But this thing that just came out here that Maxime Bernier was tweeting about, it really gets you to. I mean, if you haven't reconsidered not voting conservative, I don't know what will. To be honest, I mean, I do know what will. The thought of Justin Trudeau getting another term, that's the only thing really. But in my mind, and what I would continue to say and argue is that Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives are more than likely going to come to power, whether it's a minority or a majority. They're not going to get a whole lot done. In fact, I think the country is going to go backwards, and the next Liberal or possibly NDP government, I mean, Justin Trudeau will be done. They'll be under new leadership, and they'll come in promising a bunch of new free stuff. People will fall for it, and the country's just going to continue spiraling more downhill. The only way to fix what we're going through right now is to, I mean, cut immigration, completely scrap the carbon tax, cut regulation, all this kind of stuff, cut taxes. And the conservatives just don't really want to do that anymore. They're not interested in it. And, I mean, it's clear that they want to pander to centrists, but no centrist was, I mean, no one who's a principled centrist would vote Trudeau to begin with. So I think it's a stupid way of thinking. And I think that a lot of principled conservatives won't vote for them. I would say quite a bit more than they're losing. They're gonna lose more true, actual principled conservatives or just people who are on the right than they're gonna gain centrists. And I would say that number is by a decent amount because number one, a lot of centrists tend to they identify as centrists just because they want to kind of be special and I'm a centrist kind of thing. And when someone comes along that's actually a centrist, they don't vote for them because centrists tend to identify strongly with not being liberal or conservative, and there's not a whole lot you can do as a liberal or a conservative to change their mind. So, and people who are principled people that want to lower taxes, they want to cut regulations, they don't want mass immigration, which is a vast majority position, and I would, if you pull people from dead center to right, it would be even more supported by those people, which, I mean, the conservatives under Scheer are either very incompetent, I mean, not as incompetent as the Trudeau Liberals, I think in some ways they're incompetent, in some ways they're ingenious, but they're either incompetent or they're just stupid, really, because, I mean, if you're going to have these positions, why call yourself conservative? So basically the big takeaway from this is that a lot of people are going to begrudgingly vote conservative. They're going to hold their tongue, and they know deep down that they're the least conservatives in Canadian history, and they're going to do it. They're, like I said, they're going to begrudgingly vote, and nothing's really going to change. I mean, to me, I don't get it. Like, why, if the Scheer conservatives adopted populism, I mean, not exactly like, but similar to a Donald Trump populism, they would get voted in. Like, they're going to dominate Alberta, Saskatchewan, no matter what. They're going to lose BC and the Maritimes and Quebec no matter what. So all you got to worry about is Ontario. What is Ontario facing right now? Well, cost of living has gone way up. It's gone through the roof. So if you're a party that can offer something that's going to be basically, we're going to put your wants and needs first, we're going to cut regulation, we're going to cut taxes, all this kind of stuff that Trump wants to do. Now I know the Liberals or the Conservatives want to cut taxes, but they're not getting rid of the carbon tax. I mean, they say they're getting rid of it, but they're replacing it with something that's almost the exact same. So, I mean, literally just getting rid of the carbon tax and cutting immigration, if that's all they did, that's all I would care about. I mean, that's all anyone should care about. And the last point I'll bring up is for anybody on the right or who's even centrist, immigrants from the third world overwhelmingly vote left. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. You can look this up. And a good way of thinking about it is that if these immigrants from the third world voted overwhelmingly for the right, would the Justin Trudeaus and the Democrats in the U.S., would they be, welcoming him with open arms, saying that people, illegals should be able to come, we're going to give them free health care? Of course they wouldn't, because they don't vote for them. The left would never win an election again in history if immigrants from the third world didn't vote for them. So of course they want them. And I mean, that's the only way they can really win. I mean, they're having trouble winning even with that. So, and what you need to consider here is the long game. If right-wing governments want to continue getting elected, I mean, the only way they're going to do it is to pander to the left, continue going further to the left, which they're no longer conservative. I mean, they can call themselves conservative, but they're not really conservative. Or they can just lose. And that's the problem nowadays, is that immigration is so high in Canada, if it's not, because this is the takeaway point here. Immigration is so high in Canada that if it's not held in check, no right-leaning government is ever going to be elected, at least on the federal level, ever again. And it's at a tipping point that if it's not reined in the next 10 years or so, I mean, this election cycle may be the last one to rein it in, then it's never going to, and no right-leaning government's ever going to get voted in again. And I know a lot of people aren't going to believe me on that, but mark my words, when it happens, remember who told you. And I think I'm going to leave it there as far as this video goes. So if you liked it, make sure to hit that like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more.